Hey there! Ready for a deep dive into a real horror classic.
A true game changer.
Yeah, John Carpenter's Halloween. We're talking the OG 1978 one.
The one that basically wrote the book on slasher films.
Exactly. And I know you guys probably know the drill with these movies, but we're going deeper this time around.
Like way beyond the surface level stuff.
Yeah, like what turned a dude in a mask into like this cultural icon? You know, something that still freaks us out all these years later.
And honestly, one of the things that gets me about Halloween is how it takes this totally normal setting, right? Haddonfield.
Like it could be Anytown, USA.
Exactly. It's not some spooky castle or anything. It's your street, your neighbor's house.
Yeah, and that's what gets under my skin every time, how relatable it is. I swear after seeing that movie, I can't even imagine like living on Meridian Avenue.
But walking those sidewalks.
Right. You'd be looking over your shoulder, constantly expecting to see Michael Myers pop out from behind a bush.
It really plays on those primal fears we all have, you know, about safety and security being shattered in the places you'd least expect it. And think about the timing, too, the late 70s.
Oh, man, Watergate, the whole vibe was different.
Exactly. There was this underlying distrust in everything, a sense that things were kind of falling apart.
So Halloween, like, tapped into that anxiety.
Totally.
Like, suburbia wasn't the safe haven everyone thought it was.
Exactly, that anyone can be a victim, feeling it wasn't just a horror movie cliche, it was reflecting something real that was going on in society.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. And speaking of Michael Myers, we gotta talk about how Carpenter plays with those classic horror tropes. Like, you can't deny the psycho vibes.
Oh, absolutely. And casting Jamie Lee Curtis, Janet Leigh's daughter? Come on.
No way, seriously.
Oh yeah, it's all intentional. But here's where it gets really interesting. Psycho hits you with the violence right in your face. Halloween, it's all about what one review called Michael Myers a shadowy figure.
It's true, we barely see him.
Right.
And that somehow makes it so much scarier.
Exactly. It's the unknown, right? What you can't see is always scarier.
And Carpenter's a genius on so many levels, but that score, it's so good. It's like its own character, the way it builds that tension. You know the one?
Da 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 da.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It gets stuck in your head forever.
It's the heartbeat of the film. And Carpenter composed and performed it himself.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Super minimalist, but so effective.
Yeah.
Even when they restored the film for its 20th anniversary, they wouldn't add any new sound effects without his okay.
Wow, dedication right there. He knew what he was going for. Talk about creating a mood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that creepy atmosphere just seeps into you while you're watching, makes you feel like the bogeyman could be right outside your window. And it's not just like the music, right? It's the whole way Carpenter uses the camera, too.
Oh, totally.
Makes you feel like you're right there in Haddonfield looking over your shoulder for Michael Myers.
Those long shots.
Yeah.
You know the ones I'm talking about. When we see things from his point of view.
Yeah.
He's always watching. Like you're the one being stalked. It's seriously unnerving.
Totally. It's like he's putting you right in his headspace, which is not where you want to be.
Not at all.
But it's interesting how when Halloween first came out, some critics were like, just another slasher flick. But I feel like over time, people have really started to see how much deeper it goes.
Oh, it's so much more than a slasher.
Right.
It's like this cultural phenomenon now.
Yeah.
You know? It's constantly being referenced, reinterpreted.
Yeah.
And it's stuck with us all these years because it speaks to those universal fears, those things we're all afraid of.
Totally. Like the idea of evil hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
That evil next door thing makes you wonder who's lurking behind those white picket fences. Right?
Right.
And Halloween takes it a step further by using a holiday that's supposed to be about fun and kids.
And candy.
Yeah, all that, and turns it into something terrifying.
Halloween night, when kids go door to door dressed up in masks, it's supposed to be innocent, but Halloween makes it creepy.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't look at kids in Halloween masks the same way after seeing Michael Myers.
Nope.
But that's what's so brilliant about it. Carpenter takes these ordinary things like a normal street holiday, and just by changing how we see them, he makes them terrifying.
He's messing with our heads.
Right.
And tapping into those deep-seated anxieties we all have about innocence, about safety, about the unknown. That's powerful stuff.
Absolutely. And speaking of its impact, we can't forget about Laurie Strode. Jamie Lee Curtis's performance is legendary.
Oh yeah, she's iconic.
She's not just running around screaming. She's smart. She fights back.
She basically invented the whole final girl trope.
Right. And it's interesting because there's this whole debate about Laurie. Is she a feminist icon or is she a victim?
It's a good question. There's definitely arguments to be made on both sides.
Yeah, and the fact that we're still talking about it shows how complex Halloween is. It's more than just a movie. It makes you think about gender roles in horror.
The nature of evil.
All of it. Yeah. It's kind of wild that we're still arguing about a character from a slasher film. But I kind of love it. It just shows how much Halloween gets under your skin.
Totally. It's more than just jump scares and fake blood.
Right. And you know what else gets me about this movie? How it plays with what we know about the villain, or rather what we don't know.
Ah, Michael Myers, the king of mystery.
Exactly. He's terrifying because we don't understand him. He's like this blank slate, this void.
He's pure evil personified.
Right. And that mask, he's always wearing that expressionless mask.
We never see his face.
Never. Like, we have no idea what's going on in his head, what his motivations are. It's unnerving.
You're basically staring into the abyss.
It's true. And it goes back to that whole bogeyman idea we were talking about earlier. He's scarier when we don't have an explanation for his evil.
Makes you wonder, is pure evil scarier than calculated evil?
Right. Because with pure evil, it could be anyone.
Your neighbor. The guy walking down the street.
It's true. And that user review that called Michael Myers a shadowy figure, it's so spot on.
Less is more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The less we see, the more our imaginations run wild. But here's a thought. Have you ever wondered if he'd be as terrifying if we did see more of him?
That's a good question. Would knowing his backstory, his motives, make him less scary?
Right. Or would it make him even creepier to see the man behind the mask?
It's like, would it ruin the illusion?
Maybe. Some things are better left unknown,
Totally. It's the unknown that really gets to us.
Yeah.
And Halloween nails that feeling perfectly.
It does, and I think that's why it's considered such a classic. It's not just a fun slasher to throw on around Halloween.
It's a film that makes you think.
Yeah, it sticks with you. Makes you question your own relationship with fear.
All the good stuff.
Right. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into John Carpenter's Halloween. We covered it all. The lasting impact.
The creepy score.
That unforgettable villain.
And don't forget that feeling that you're not even safe in your own neighborhood.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to go double check all the locks on my doors. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.